How much debt is too much? And we will talk about this quite a bit, but I'm going to do it a little quicker, so we're going to keep going on this point, but because we will keep hitting this, we're just trying to set you up with the basics of this, because so many people are struggling with this point. But let me just put it to you this way. Business debt at 30 to 50% debt to income ratio. What the heck is debt to income? That's one thing I want to kind of tell you. Debt is that thing that you're paying for that is from the past. We're not talking about your electric bill, okay? In Oklahoma it's called PSO, okay? Your PSO bill is for the now in essence. Obviously it's last month, but stick with me for a second, okay? Debt is something that you're paying for that it's in the past. Your PSO is just a utility bill that you would pay in the now, or your telephone bill, or whatever you want to pick, okay? Now, debt is things like houses and cars and student loans and everything else out there, credit issues, okay? Those are things that you have exist in the now, but you're paying for it over a time frame. And when your income, your monthly income, when we look at that, and if the ratio becomes 30% or more, you have the right to have bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy is either a liquidation, reorganization, and it happens the same way with personal and business debt, okay? Now, here's the reality. 30% is the ratio that they work from, okay? Now, back in 2009, I had a lawyer look at my stuff, and I realized that I was 90% debt to income ratio. I'm going to tell you how bad it was. See, some of you are struggling through your stuff, and I understand that. But I know exactly what it feels like. I lived it from day to day to day. I could barely pay my bills. I actually took money out of my second mortgage to pay my first mortgage. Dude, that is off the chart, okay? I know exactly what that feels like. But here's what we are today as a nation. We are sitting in the range of anywhere from 170 out to 200% debt to income ratio. And I was talking to a money manager about this conversation, and I said, so we can't live there, because I know, and he knew me very well. He's known me since this time frame, and he knew when I felt this. And he goes, yeah, but Japan's run at 200% debt to income ratio. That's not sustainable. There is a point in time where the situation, I'm sorry, I erased it here, when the situation, we've taken out way too much money every single time frame. We can't sustain this point. You see, even the people of Greece actually ran into the same problem. They had 40% of all their people who worked for the government. And if you had $70,000 in your savings for any type, they would knock it down to maybe $7,000. You could only get $50 in debit amounts or cash every single day. And they were stealing from you left and right. It actually is the reason for the British exit, which is called Brexit, out of the EU. Germany was having a hissy fit because they had to cover this thing. The reality is, if the USA goes out, see, some of you think the USA is going to go out of business, okay? And by the way, it's feeling that way. The reality is, if this occurred, you might want to just start throwing nuclear weapons out, because that's exactly where it would go. There is an answer for this thing. The answer has been thought about for a very long time frame by both sides. Why is 2020 such an important year to this point? It's because the bankruptcy was known about. It's been known about for a very, very long time, as I said. So 2020 was a point of bankruptcy. And America can't just go off the cliff. They can't drop them into the abyss, in essence, because we would have war.